The issue offsite. Please advise. I have been a silent observer for about a year now. I now need advice though. I have been married to my wife for about 20 years. 2 wonderful kids. Well, I found out she was cheating using the stuff I read here. I have at least always been a dedicated husband and father, probably too nice. If that makes any sense. Here is a vague timeline. She got busted talking to another guy whom she said she no longer talked to before. She said just a friend, but why did she lie? I never had a problem with her having friends before. I perked my ears to that, but their conversations via phone and text diminished. So, I let it go. Then I stumbled on the fact that she spent the at least one afternoon at his apartment, which after the long talks, texts, well, I knew what was then. I told her no matter what she told me I will always think she was sleeping with him. She never admitted to anything inappropriate, but we had a huge fight. She said that she was wrong. I'm sorry, but I am not going to tell you why I am. This was in November. I should have left, but I did not. I know. So, I guess we started a R then. But the fact that she still held the details were really disturbing me. We had several fights about her not being forthcoming with particulars I needed to start building my life again, with or without her. She did agree that I would now have access to everything. Phone, email. Things seemed to get even more rocky. Then after the new year, it seemed that she really was trying again. Not good, but at least better. Well, here is the kicker. I checked her phone the other day and I saw another email sign-in in her browser history than the one I was familiar with. I took her phone. I know that is illegal by the way, however rational thought was not going well at that moment. I then took it to a secure location and did a data recovery on her text messages. As it turns out, she was still sleeping with the other guy until the first of the year. Then there are signs that she broke it off with the She has now admitted everything. She says she is so sorry, and I actually think she means it this time. I have never heard that type of despair come out of her, and when she knew I had seen that, as of now, I cannot sleep or eat again. The other email account actually was an innocent one, and I got spooked over nothing this time. Though it does not feel like nothing. I cannot get what they said together out of my head. We were trying to R, but she continued to see that guy for at least another month. So, what would you do? On the D, that is the front I am presenting to her, and she is going along if that is what I need. So, I am telling her I am going to do. I am just wondering if I should actually intend to fulfill it. Should I feel bad about how I discovered? I have been going out to the gym and since November, after I found out she was at the guy's pace that afternoon. I do not think I will quite anytime soon. I am going to tell you something sick. If you take out the physical aspect of the messages, because there were a lot more than just those, and the aspect where they were both plotting against me, looking forward to a time where they could run away together. However, the personality that she was projecting to him I had not seen in years. I missed that personality. I guess that would be what it was like when she was really into me. That was the woman I fell in love with, but it contradicts everything I thought. Sucks that my life has apparently been a lie. Oh, and yes, we have 2 kids that are 18 and 16, both boys. I did not really have permission to remove the phone from the home. She literally tried to tackle me in the street when she realizes what I was doing and where I was going. Comment. Personally, I would D immediately. I would never forgive or forget such a betrayal, especially because she was bored. She gaslighted and continued the affair after you confronted her. But, in the end, you have to decide what you want and can live with. No one else. All we can tell you is how we would or did handle cheating when it happened to us or impacted our lives in some way. That, and many here will tell you what mistakes they now realize they made and how they would do things differently now. 4 years later. Unfortunately for the second time and for my second marriage I need advice. I have been married with my second wife for a little over a year. I suppose a little of an update. I have recently discovered that I have had an anxiety and depression disorder. I am supposed to be on antidepressants now, so I suppose maybe I can be a bit much emotionally. I am really a nice guy. I have been too much of a doormat in the past though, expectantly with my ex with. I have been divorced for 4 years. Well, the new concern is that my wife all of a sudden started talking to stereotypical cheater speak, or that is what it seemed like from my last experience. So, I proceeded to look in her journal, feeling a little guilty. Turns out she most recently talking about another guy she found attractive. She was comparing him to me and I was, big time, at the short end of the stick. This man is known, he works with her and just contributed a $10K right after I confronted her, item to her business, saying how weak and small I seemed. I helped her create her business and have dead up to my gills trying to make her dream a reality. I could not live independently right now. I confronted her right after and she said that she wants to explore her feelings for him but had not cheated. I explained why I did what did as far as check thing out. She said I was not treating her to fair standard. That is comparing her to my ex-wife. Now she wants my promise to never read her diary and okay to keep her phone private as to keep me from exploring in the future. I feel completely unlovable right now. She now says that she will try marriage counseling, though only after texting me that she wanted to sell the house and separate. So yesterday sucked. I am inclined to try that, but honestly, I have some heavy reservations. She has already told me that she was not willing to put my needs in front of her business needs. So, at best this is an emotional affair, right? I suppose more history is needed for me. I had a really bad childhood. My mother was deathly ill and me and my dad were her only caregivers. I was severely bullied at school also. So, I do have a lot of self-esteem issues. I am trying to fix my baggage. Was seeing a counselor. I just stopped only to find another. So, I am all about self-growth. I need to still hit my goals. I am taking some time away. I will not be obsessing over what my wife does. Either I see something in marriage counseling or I am out of there. I cannot be a backup plan anymore. I'd rather be homeless than be where I am now. This debt has killed my credit. I need to see more. No excuse, just perspective. I know where things are probably going. I just have to make a 100% sure. I am taking a break this weekend and visiting family out of state. At this time, we are divorcing. I hate marriage. I feel sick. Finally, I'm feeling not happy, but at least not where I was. I am trying to get on antidepressant meds, but it's taking too long. I'm starting to concentrate on things I need to go forward. House is being listed, and if things go well, my finances might just equal zero at the end instead of what I was looking at. I'm beginning to feel my anger, so I still have a lot more to do on me. Divorce is still the only destination this is going. I have met with a lawyer and our house is listed. So, all said, I have a few things I need help interpenetrating. She says that my time and effort in our marriage was not waste. She says that I am ethically wrong for taking the wedding rings. Only time she has cried in front of me was when I confronted her, when she told me this. She says I was not present sometimes, probably because of our different work schedule or my ad. She never mentioned it until I found out about the other guy. She says I need to stop beating her up mentally over this. All I've said accumulate into maybe a few hours, and I have not even raised my voice. I just am looking for some sort of reason why I am in this predicament. Again, I just want to figure out what I did wrong in this relationship. 3 years later, I wish my story was unique. I was married for 15 years. Found out first wife was serial cheater. So, I tried to better myself and got married again and again. The affair bug has bitten me. First marriage failed because I was too nice, per se. Also loved the idea of who I thought she was, and probably did not help that we got married way too young. Second marriage failed because I helped her start a business. I am still $30,000 in debt because of her. I believe that as I had a full-time job and she was always around her new teacher, we just lost our connection. Sucks though. I also am not sure if there was a wow factor with this woman, and I was always trying too hard to not repeat my mistakes with the first wife, instead of being more present in the moment. So, it's been a roller coaster. I have been alone for almost 4 years now, slowly paying off the debt and starting my own side business. I am lonely though, and I think still hung a tiny little bit on the first wife. I tried to date once recently and it was so darn awkward. My self-confidence had shot. How do I move on? I have only had 2 dates in the past 4 years, both with the same woman. Even those one was a setup by friends. At this moment I think I am actively trying not to meet other people. I am just so scared of being hurt again. I am sick of that fear controlling me though. I suppose I should have added that I have ADHD and anxiety and depression disorders. Well, first, really, she owes me $70,000. She has filed bankruptcy and the business defaulted because of COVID. She taught people how to make pottery, or her now ex-BF taught people how to make pottery. So, my dad gave her a loan of $35,000 and I got home improvement loans to start the business. So, my budget is super tight. Luckily, I am really good at my day job. Side business still is growing, and I am expecting to be out of debt within the year, or at least the bank debt. She is a deadbeat for not paying my dad back. But hey, live and learn. My dad got her pottery equipment, which I am too darn busy to sell. I do want a serious relationship, eventually. I enjoyed family life. I have 2 stepchildren. Both are now over 18 and living on their own. I really do not want to jump to marriage too quickly again. I have found I am good at woodworking, so that is my new side business. I am trying to appreciate things as they happen. I might be more awkward now, but overall, this is the happiest I have been. So, I just need to keep trucking. I have a tight ring of friends that are my rock. They are closer than I ever was with family. Though I am an introvert by nature and my friends usually have to drag me out. I am heading into the new year finally feeling optimistic about my life. Nothing to do with someone new, just happy being myself for a change. Perhaps I am just now feeling content being alone. I feel like I am living my best self. It's been a month since I have even thought about my ex-wives, and it is the best I've felt in a long time, probably ever. Will not be looking for a relationship for years at this point. Just happy being me. My comment: please do not take this personally, but your last 2 marriages failed in divorce. I suspect the type of women you are drawn to, the type you seek out, are not the right people for a good long-term marriage. You have been looking in the wrong places and attracting the wrong women. How do you find a different type of person? Look in new places, church groups, take college classes at night to find people willing to work at bettering themselves. Hobby groups with hobbies that you enjoy and know. hiking groups, dog walking groups. Try thinking outside of the box. Another thing to consider, beauty is only skin deep. A lot of men will not date women who are not knockout beautiful. But those are the same women who have been pampered with male attention all their lives. Try tempering your hopes in that regard. Pay a lot more attention to who the person is, how hard they work, how well your interests intersect. Story 2. I have been with my husband for 16 years and married for 10 together since I was 19 divided by him 24. No children. We dated a long time before marriage and that seemed wise, and I thought we were doing well. We never fight, agree easily on most everything, no money problems, share hobbies and interests, and so forth. He has done a lot for me and I am a pleaser type person and prided myself on being the perfect wife, so to speak. I completely 100% trusted him and never, ever thought anything was wrong. I was a bit unfulfilled physically, but that started from the very beginning. He was never highly physical and I usually had to initiate, and many times was turned down and cried myself to sleep. However, everything else was so good that I tried not to let it bother me. In hindsight, I didn't feel truly treasured or wanted, but it was easy and comfortable and I had lots of trust in him. Notice the past tense. Lots of distractions with my hobbies and work, as well as a good-looking future that was stable and secure, which we had both worked towards. About 18 months ago I was harmlessly looking at our cell bill and noticed a huge number of texts with a number I wasn't familiar with. I was extremely shocked and through a little digging I found out that it was another woman. My husband has a job where he works 24-hour shifts and had been working a lot of overtime, for real, the past 2 years, so he has gone every other night. I guess we grew apart a bit and didn't know it, in hindsight. The records showed texts and pictures sent late at night on the days he worked. I didn't have to question what was being sent. After a bit more research before confronting him, I found out this person was about 12 years younger and quite overweight and unattractive, like 300 pounds. I am 5'9" and fit, work out in a healthy weight, size 8 to 10, with a natural DD chest and consider myself attractive enough, and my husband is quite into fitness himself, so I didn't know what to think about this. The name was vaguely familiar, a person I felt like he had mentioned long ago, someone who worked near him. However, he'd said she was really fat and never really mentioned her again. I also found the number from the cell bill hidden in his cell phone under a bogus name. I confronted husband by calling at work, and he first said it was just a friend he talked to at work sometimes, and remember, he had mentioned her a long while ago, but then when I said I didn't buy the just friends crap given the crazy number of texts, talking all day and half the night, even days before I confronted him, although not every day and sometimes a few days spanned, but sometimes texting her at 12 a.m. before bed and then 6 a.m. when he woke up. Didn't do that to me. There were rarely phone calls, though, at least on our bill. Who knows what he was doing at work or on work email. Only a few, made early morning when he got off work, disturbing. He said he would talk when he got home. It sucked because I had a job interview the next day and I was so distraught I had to cancel it and call into work sick. When he arrived home, he said he wanted to come clean, that he had been talking to this woman for about 4 years. So half our marriage of 8 years at that time, he claimed 2 of it was fairly harmless, but then it crossed into the realm of physical on her prompting. Apparently, she stroked his ego big time, no offense, but she would never get a guy like this in the real world, you'd think, looks-wise. They did send naked photos back and forth and had illicit conversations. He never sent dirty text with me. I was absolutely devastated and shocked, as I had no idea this was going on. I had read flirty emails between him and some other old friends or whatnot on FB, but it was in the open and didn't seem to be so threatening. I did not do the same, however, with any guys. Only when we first got together 16 years ago and dated long distance were there a few incidents of iffy behavior that maybe now I should have believed. The only slight sign of this had been that he more recently, about 6 to 9 months prior to my discovery, was having trouble climaxing during bonding. He blamed it on recent workouts, doing cardio, and I believed it, but still deep down it hurt my feelings. Now I wonder if it was because he was sleeping with this other woman. He has now said it was due to guilt. He said it was strictly a texting relationship, that she had trapped him and by threatening to tell me if he quit. And they never met up or had slept together. However, it turns out she lives about 10 minutes from our house. I just don't believe, despite her size, looks, that it was purely texting over a 4-year span. I said I wanted to have him take a lie detector test if he hadn't slept with her then, and he said no because he would probably fail anyway. No, the answer I was looking for. That just makes me more suspicious. It honestly doesn't matter if he did or didn't at this point. I was begging for attention and bonding, and to find out he was, for years, giving it to someone else, feels like more than I can get past. My whole life was ripped out from under me, all of my stability and security gone. It has been the absolute worst pain of my life. I don't make even half what he does, and I have a farm and lots of expenses that I couldn't handle on my own, so now I feel like if I leave, I will lose everything I have worked so hard to achieve due to no fault of my own, and live basically poor again due to nothing I've done. Of course, now he's Mr. Nice Guy and doing all the things I asked for years prior to this, but that makes me even madder to know that he was capable and it took this to bring it out. I just feel like I am less willing than ever to meet whatever needs he wasn't having met due to my pain, fear, and bitterness. So, what's the point? I was really pretty darn happy and now I'm miserable. I have lost so much respect, trust, and interest in him, knowing he could look me in the face and be doing this behind my back, that there is no way he truly was in love or really cared about me. And I was so good and so nice. It seems like most guys would love to have this, plus a wife that begs for bonding many times a week. Since I have completely lost all feelings for him in a romantic way, we have not slept together in nearly 18 months. I really have a complex about it now. I was a virgin when I met him, so to me, bonding was really special. Now it feels like it's all tarnished and ruined and I have zero interest in him that way. We did it a few times right afterward before the pain set in and I wanted to work it out. But now, I am completely repulsed by any attempt of affection from him. I don't want to open up and get hurt again since I don't trust, so I stay emotionally withdrawn. It's hard because to protect myself I haven't told many people, in case we reconcile, so that they would not have any preconceived notions about us in the future. Most of our good friends don't even know. He is being patient about the bonding, but at this point I want to have closeness and sleep together, just not with him. He is very physically attractive, but emotionally the candle has long gone out. I feel like by now I should be moving forward but feel further away than ever. I have gotten to the point where now I feel guilty that I haven't been able to get past it, and in my heart of hearts feel like it's over for me. I hate that he too is living without bonding during the prime of his life also. I guess he is. Who knows? And I really feel like maybe since he wasn't really married for 4 years while I was, it's time for me to not be married anymore either. Maybe I should be single. Over the course of becoming detached from him I have become closer to a few folks and think of dating them and how that would be. Of course, he still wants to work it out, but I just can't get over 4 years of lying to my face and betrayal. What else is someone like that capable of? I have that feeling of not knowing him anymore, stranger. I have so much good that I do appreciate that it's hard to want to give up the rest of my life outside of him, but I also can't seem to forgive him and don't really want to, and I can't have it without him, so I feel trapped. Neither of us can live super well without the other, and he has put a lot in our home and facility, so I still have compassion that I don't want him to live poorly either. He agreed immediately to cease all contact with the other person, and I guess he has no way to know if he still was contacting her from his work. And we did go to MC at first fairly soon after the incident, but the therapist said I was so angry and hurt that we needed to wait a while. Is that common? She said she couldn't help us until I could be less emotional and bitter. He seems to be truly remorseful, but I can't help but look at it as what I thought we had was worth the risk of losing. He is doing a lot of the things now that I had been asking for years and years, which only makes me madder that he was capable, and only now is he trying, when I was trying the whole time. I don't know if doing the polygraph would even matter at this point. It was the deceit in general and the length of time, 4 years, that I can't get past. If someone can do this to someone they supposedly love, what else are they capable? How can I ever trust again? I know that I can't, or it'll never be the same. I just have such a fear of opening back up and getting closer again because I don't trust him with my feelings, emotions, or my security anymore since all of that has been destroyed. I have mourned the sudden death of our relationship and now too scared to try and rebuild, to take that risk that it happens again when I am older and not as able to start over. I have 100% zero attraction or romantic feelings for him, even though he is a textbook good-looking guy. And when I think about being intimate, I am repulsed. If he makes any type of advance, it immediately makes me incredibly anxious. I don't want to live in a non-physical marriage because to me bonding was very important, and I wasn't satisfied even then, but lived with it without too much complaint because everything else was good. And I feel like sometimes he is trying in vain, and it makes me guilty even though it's not my fault. Doing this has happened. I also am angry about and afraid of losing everything I have due to no fault of my own. We have a large horse farm, my dream, which he did help me build, and I can't afford it without him. I run a nationally successful horse business with a good friend. I can't afford the farm without him, since he makes over twice what I make. So, I feel trapped. I will lose all I have worked for in the farm, my beloved horses, my side business, have a regular good job but don't make a ton, my cars that I also love, hobby too, and basically, live hand to mouth with nothing, all due to something I didn't do. It just seems like an agonizing choice and so unfair. Or I stay for the material things and never sleep together again, or risk having this whole thing happen all over again because I don't think the root problem even was fixed. I just don't know what to do. I am 35 and no kids, so still young enough to find someone else, just scared to try again and have this happen at 45 and it be too late. I also do not believe they did not have any physical contact. If you can see someone sometimes while you're at work, and also, they happen to live about 10 minutes from where we do, I don't see how after 4 years the tension from all the texting and sending pictures, both ways, he admitted, wouldn't eventually be too tempting, despite the unattractiveness. When I found this girl's page, I didn't know whether to be insulted or not. Maybe he is a closet chubby chaser, who knows. Bottom line is that she was enamored with him and stroked his ego, and though good looking, he has low self-esteem due to his terrible mother, and so I guess she made him feel so good that he couldn't let it go. He said he knew it would be discovered and had guilt about it, and here I was oblivious and trucking along, without any idea of the crap storm that was about to hit me. I know that I am better, so to speak, not being pompous or anything, just saying comparatively, much better looks, better job, better education, but I also know that you can't help who you love, and on paper sometimes it doesn't make sense. He said they never said, "I love you," and he didn't care about her, and he was trapped in the texting relationship. Which seems ridiculous. He could have simply made something up, like saying this chick was stalking him, and if she told me I probably would not have believed her at the time, and he probably would have gotten off easy. But he clearly didn't want it to stop. He claims it was a mistake. A one-night stand is a mistake perhaps, but 4 years is a conscious decision and not a mistake. When I was sure it was an inappropriate relationship, I first called her and got no answer. Then I texted her and asked if there was anything I should know between her and my husband. No response, so I knew. People encouraged me to confront her, but I said no matter what she said I wouldn't believe her anyway. She could lie and say nothing happened to save his ass, or she could say all sorts of things to burn him. She was single with no kids. When I asked him how he ended it, he said he called her from work and told her. So, I have no idea if they still actually talk or not, and maybe just got sneakier. When I asked him to take a polygraph test to prove he didn't sleep with her, and he said no, because I'd just fail anyway because I'd be too nervous. That wasn't the answer I was looking for. They can tell between nerves and lies. He said, well, it's not considered accurate enough to be admissible in court. Well, I think it would be accurate enough for me to get the info I needed. If I really was innocent, I would say sure, I'll take one right now. Maybe there is more he wouldn't want me to find out, like other people or whatever. Just was even more unsettling considering I was already totally blindsided. Him cheating never crossed my mind, and I thought he was happy. Also, his first wife, married very young when in the service, cheated on him, so I figured given how he knew it felt that he would never do it to someone. At least he says it was her that cheated. Of course, I am suspicious of everything I have ever been told. Now, he also said that he expected to be forgiven, and that has always stuck with me. Granted, he has definitely been really trying now, but that only makes me think before he was certainly focusing his attentions elsewhere for Lord knows how long. I just hate that it took this to finally have him express that I was of value to him, now at a time when I no longer want it. Then people say since he's trying, I should give him a chance, but I just can't take that leap of faith and feel the damage is just too much. The only reason I guess I am continuing is because I like the rest of my life. I have a great farm, great house, 25 horses, 6 cool cars, comfortable finances with retirement planned out already, and good lifestyle with no worries, and then the huge elephant in the room. Everything else is great, and we don't fight. That's why it's so hard to go the route of ending it. Plus it seems he really wants to work on it, so I hate to disappoint him, even though that may seem silly. Still think of others even when maybe I shouldn't. I am so angry that now to seek happiness I have to potentially give up all of this stuff that I, too, have worked for by profiting on investment horses and pouring the money into our facility, which now I will lose if I choose to break this off. We have a good bit of equity so we could both profit from the sale, but it just feels so unfair because I don't want to sell. Why should I have to lose when I have done nothing wrong? But, without the income I can't afford the house, to buy it out, and hold property on my own. With a roommate perhaps could make the payments, but also, he may not want to give up the house and place either that he's worked really hard on. But if anyone has to lose, it shouldn't be me, in my opinion. Or I stay and have all this stuff but live without love or fulfillment and risk my own affair eventually, or another of his. Just so hard. Maybe he feels that way too. I mean, I never felt like he was that into me physically. By the way, I almost always, from the beginning, had to start. So, it wasn't like he was being denied. He could have had it every day if he wanted. So I don't understand the cake eating unless I am just terrible in bed. And that's really all I know because he is my first. I feel like I want to experience it with someone else now, whereas before I never did because I was so devoted. I would voice it to my friends at times, male and female, and they would all say he was insane or even gay. He would claim he was tired or stressed out as a reason not to be interested. I get hit on all the time, not to be vain, just saying, and have always resisted opportunities, so all of this also makes it hurt even worse. So yes, I guess my decision comes down to love versus lifestyle, because it looks like I can't have both, and I am so angry that I will have to lose everything because of nothing I did, and I tried so hard and was so good, and this is the thanks I get. Update, a year later. Anyway, fast forward 2+ years to now. I have finally come to terms with everything and figured out how to live my life without him. I make 1/3 of what he does and have a large horse farm and good horse business, aside from regular 9-to-5 state job, so I was trying to figure out how not to lose everything. Other than the infidelity issue and lack of intimacy, we have always had a good friendship, working partnership. We get along great, live well together, he's very responsible, doesn't mistreat me, easy to get along with, respectful, etc. Just there is no physical attraction on my part. And I don't want to sign up for another 40 years of mediocre bonding and lack of intimacy, plus the trust will never be the same, of course. We have finally talked out the details of sort of how we'd separate and when, but I find it hard to actually pull off because he says he doesn't want it, yet we have had no connection of any sort in 2+ years. And so he lets any effort I make to move forward die out after we discuss it. Then we go another month and have to start the conversation over, and same thing. I also guess since we are friends and he is a good roommate, I find it hard to break the relationship. I have been with him since I was 19, so maybe that's the problem. But I know I don't want to have a physical relationship. So, both of us have to move on unless we both don't want anything more for the rest of our lives. Not me. I just turned 36. No children. He has a shift job where he works 24 hours at a time and has always been that way. I thought it was a good thing until realized it gave him 24 hours to talk to the other person. Could be doing God knows what during that time now at work. Hard to trust. So, is this normal, or, now that I am over the hatred and pain of what happened, which I had to let go of because it was ruining me and aging me, it's easier to be complacent, but then again, I also look forward to being single as well and would love to be able to date other people. The thought of him dating other people does not bother me at all. However, I guess it's unrealistic to think I won't miss anything about the relationship because most of it was very good until he blindsided me and ruined it. I had never an intention of getting divorced until then. Half a year later, over the past couple months, a guy who I have met 2 times via a good friend began to like and comment on every Facebook post I made. Let me start by saying he has Asperger's and has never had a girlfriend, so he's a bit socially awkward as a result and doesn't really function on the same level as you and I when it comes to emotional issues, I'm sure. That aside, even though nothing inappropriate was said, my soul was becoming annoyed by the attention this person was paying me. I was a bit annoyed too just because it was a bit excessive, however seemingly innocent, but I began to discourage the attention and deleted some of his comments, and he obviously got the message and stopped. My soul said I should contact him and tell him I was not interested. But my issue with that was that he never said anything to me about being interested, just liked my photos and made comments related to my posts. I never talked with him and we have no relationship other than mere acquaintances that share some mutual friends. That being said, I am going on a trip overseas for an educational program in about 2 weeks with a group of friends. One of our mutual friends thought this person might enjoy going and invited him. It's a public event. He decided to go. So now my soul is up in arms that I am going to be going on a trip overseas without him, and now this person is going to be attending. He has basically said I cannot stand next to this person in any pictures, and if I did, I don't care about him or our relationship. To have him look at photos with me near him would be hurtful, and if a photo is taken and he gets next to me, that I should move immediately away no matter the circumstance. He says that it is a realistic request and I should respect his wishes, and said it will make or break our relationship if I do or don't comply with this. We have very different views of this and it's causing a lot of disagreement. My comment: I know you want to help him, but only he can do that himself. He has to seek serious professional help for him to deal with the underlying factors. Trust me, there will be too much baggage for that. You're planning on hope. You hope that your love will convert him, but there are serious psychological issues that only a professional can get to the root cause. You are changing him is probably way out of your league. Until he works on the underlying issues, all you can do is patchwork.